In today's video, I'm randomising the Premier League. This wheel has every single Premier League team's 14 highest rated players on it, and their fate will be decided by the wheel, as all 280 players on this wheel will be randomly put into Premier League teams. And then we'll simulate 10 separate seasons to see if randomising the Premier League made a difference or if it's the same teams on top. But to first make sure it's completely randomised, I'm going to spin the Premier League wheel and see whose team we are randomising first. Okay, Bournemouth are up first. And as we spin the play wheel for the first time out of 280 players, the first one up is going to be Moise Caicedo. That's pretty damn decent. And joining game is going to be, who is that going to be? Marc Cucurella, 2 Chelsea players in a row. I mean, as a Chelsea fan, 2 pretty decent players off the bat, but who is the third one going to be? I don't know. This is actually nuts. Christopher Nkunku, were you joking? Bournemouth are low-key taking all of Chelsea's players. Who's player number 4 going to be? If this is another Chelsea player, by the way, Bernardo Silva, that's huge. The first 4 players for Bournemouth are absolutely fantastic. Who's 5 going to be there? Who's the 5th player going to be? Okay, Igor, centre-back from Brighton, I believe. And joining him, it is going to be, I can't see the name, Sammy Smodics. And following him is going to be Federico Chiesa from Liverpool. Bournemouth are going to be stacked at this rate. And following Chiesa is going to be, I believe that's Yuri Tielemans. So that's 8 down, 6 players to go. Who is player number 9 going to be, though? That's the question. Richarlison, 50-50. And following him is going to be, who is up next? That is Matthias Jensen. I believe he's a Brentford player. I could be very wrong in saying that, but I'm almost positive I'm right. Who's going to be next, though, is the question. Morato. Okay, I believe he's another centre-back. No idea what team he plays for, though, to be honest, off the top of my head. But the next player up is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Fair play. Down to the final 2 players for Bournemouth now. I'd say they've done pretty well so far out of this wheel. Are they going to do better? Vitaly Janelt. But the question is, who is the last player going to be for them? Ross Barkley. I mean, that's one way to end it, isn't it? Well, that's the first team done. 19 more to do. So who is the next team to get randomised? Brentford. It's the Bees' turn. But are they going to have a good a start as Bournemouth did, or are they going to fall flat on their faces? Okay, James Maddison, that's a really good start. Who's player number 2 going to be, though? That is the question at the minute. No way. Kevin De Bruyne. Oh my god. Okay, they're stacked already. As player number 3 is up, and he's going to be Joel Veltman. 3 players down, 11 to go. And player number 4 is going to be Jan Bednarek. And following him is going to be, I don't know who that is, Heung-min Son from the Ball Jobs. That's huge as well. Honestly, so far, Brentford and Bournemouth have done amazing randomising their teams. Is it going to get better? No, not really. Tyrone Mings. But overall, still a very solid centre-back, as the next player up is going to be Matheus Fernandes. Not a bad player himself. As the next player up is going to be, who the hell is this? Jen Liska-Just. I'm pretty certain he plays for Ipswich Town. But I'm sure if I'm wrong, you guys will definitely correct me in the comment section down below. As next up is going to be Flynn Downs. I'm pretty sure he's a West Ham player. 9 down, a further 5 spin to this wheel for Brentford to go as pick number 10, Nick Pope. Okay, they got a decent keeper. And I've just this second realised that's one thing that Bournemouth didn't get from the wheel, but the next player up from this wheel is Manuel Ugarte from United. Honestly, Brentford are looking like early favourites to do very well in this video, as the next player up for them is Morgan Gibbs-White. He was the 12th pick. This is pick number 13, Sasa Lukic. And finally, pick number 14 for the Bees is going to be Kenny Tete. Wow, what a way to end it. So that's 2 teams down. We've still got 18 to go. And it's time to travel to Anfield because Liverpool are up next. And they're doing very well under Arne Slot this year. But will they do well after randomising their team, as their first pick is Jorginho? Not a bad start. And their second pick of 14 is going to be, oh, you can't write that, Virgil van Dijk's going nowhere. That is actually insanely lucky when you think about it. But they've got another 12 to go. Pick number 3 is going to be Philip Billing. And following him, it is going to land on Jamie Vardy, one of the Premier League's all-time best goal scorers, if you ask me. And following Jamie Vardy, it is going to land on Adam Wharton, a pretty big baller in real life, but not ideal for a one-season simulation in career mode, as the next person up is Harry Maguire. Oh my god. Virgil van Dijk and Harry Maguire would low-key ball out, though, at the back. Then again, maybe not. Every time they concede, it definitely be Maguire's fault, but the next player up is going to be Calvin Bassey. Okay, not bad at all. They've got the fair share of defenders Liverpool now have. They need a couple other positions to fill in. Like, oh my God, they got Trent Alexander-Arnold now as well. That's actually nuts. Liverpool so far have been genuinely so lucky with their picks, as the next pick is going to be John Stones. Oh my God, that is a really good back four now. I mean, John Stones, Virgil van Dijk and Trent at the back. That isn't bad at all, is it? As their next pick is going to be Reece Nelson. That's 10 down now, though. 4 picks to go. With pick number 11 is going to be Manuel Akanji. Seriously, though, how many freaking defenders do Liverpool actually want at this point? Okay, I think they're about to get a striker in Kai Havertz. That's not bad at all. With only 2 picks left, they could do with more players like being landed on. Okay, that's decent. Pedro Neto. As we spin this wheel for the 14th and final time with Liverpool, they're going to land on Jean-Philippe Mateta. Again, not a decent way to end it. But that's only 3 teams down with 17 to go. So what I'm going to do is, off camera, I'm going to continue randomizing each Premier League team. And the next time you see me, every Premier League team will be randomized. And there we go, guys. It was a second for you, a complete day for me. And as you can see, every single Premier League team has indeed been randomized. Some are certainly looking better than others. Trust me when I say, guys, randomized in the Premier League may actually cause a couple of upsets. And this is what I'm talking about, because this is how Bournemouth are lined up. Look at the state of that team. The only real bad thing about Bournemouth is they've got Travers in goal, but with that defensive lineup in midfield in front of him, he shouldn't be too bad. The bench and reserves isn't looking that bad either. Honestly, already Bournemouth are looking pretty damn solid in the Prem. But so are Arsenal, guys, as this is their team after the wheel has randomised its squad, and it's a fantastic squad. Foden, Isak, Solanke, Luis Diaz, Udogie, and a half-decent keeper in Neto. Just like Bournemouth, Arsenal are going to be up there. As for Aston Villa, this is how their team is lined up, and it would be stronger, but I'm not joking when I say this. The game literally won't let me swap any players around. I mean, I'm trying to swap Gakpo with Philogene, for example, and the game just isn't having any of it. And as you can see with Ward-Prowse on the bench, you got Philogene, you got Gakpo, you got Castagne. It would be a stronger team if the game actually let me put it out. As for Brentford, this is a very good team. I mean, the starting 11 looks absolutely phenomenal, even without some of the changes that need to be made. Because on the bench, you've got KDB, Fabio Carvalho, and James Maddison, man. If you put them into the team, this would be a title contender. Moving on to Brighton, though, they are one team that really got shafted by the wheel, as this is their strongest starting 11. And when Darwin Núñez is your strongest player in your team, that's when you know you're going to have difficulty. To be fair, they got Vicario on the bench with Gundogan and Martin Odegaard, but I don't think those 3 are going to be enough to help Brighton win anything. And honestly, it's the same story for Chelsea, as the wheel really shafted these boys. I mean, Bruno Fernandes is our strongest player. That's not a bad thing, by the way. Bruno is a fantastic player, but realistically, he's the only real standout talent that Chelsea have got. I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea faced a relegation scrap or 2. So nobody can accuse me of favouritism, as this is Crystal Palace's side, and oh my God, that is actually a lot better than I remember. Adding on to the fact there's Jadon Sancho on the bench who can go on the right side of the pitch, ladies and gentlemen, Palace might actually cause an upset or 2. Saying that, though, Everton don't look bad themselves, as this is how their team looks, and honestly, up and down the pitch, it's a very balanced, high-quality side. I mean, on the bench, there's Pedro Porro, you got Kieran Trippier, you got Maxence Lacroix, you've got freaking Wout Faes and Sugawara, and those players would definitely improve that back four, and hopefully, when the simulations go through, the manager will just take care of that, and that will hopefully make it a lot more interesting. As for Fulham, guys, this is a mixed bag. They've got Ballon d'Or winner Rodri in the team. They've got a very strong defence and keeper, but aside from that, the rest of the team's actually quite pants. Actually, to be fair, you look at the reserves, Saka's there, you got Mohamed Kudus, Almiron, Calvin Phillips, Sven Botman as well, so when you add that onto this team, yeah, I reckon they'll do alright, actually. Ipswich, though, I feel like are going to be a dark horse, guys. I know the starting 11 is a real mixed bag of really good talent and then really poor talent, but then you look who they've got on the bench, guys. Mohamed Salah, Leon Bailey, Kufal, Semedo, you got freaking Jordan Pickford in the reserves. And when they get thrown into this team, it's still going to be a mixed bag of talent, but it'll definitely be a dark horse, I'm telling you. And Leicester City's another team to watch out for. The starting 11, just like Ipswich Town, doesn't look all that much. But in the reserves, you got Munoz, and then you look at the freaking bench. Nathan Ake, Gabriel Gabriel Jesus, Timo Werner. I mean, Jesus probably won't get a look in with Haaland in the team, but Werner certainly will, and so will Ake. I'm telling you, watch out for Leicester. As for Liverpool, though, guys, as you can see, they did keep two of their best players in Van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold. That bodes well for them, as their bench and reserves is actually pretty stacked with talent as well. But with Alisson nowhere to be seen, guys, this may turn the tide for Liverpool in a bad way. As for United, though, I feel like they are absolutely screwed, as this is their strongest team as far as I'm aware anyway, guys. They've got Guimaraes, they've got freaking Yoro, they've got Kepa in goal. They do have Alexis McAllister on the reserves, which I've got no doubt in my mind he'll get game time once the simulations kick in, but right now, I'm actually saying United are one of the favourites to get relegated. The same can't be said for City, though, as this is how they're looking without me being able to actually sort it out, and as you can see, their defence has taken a significant hit. I mean, granted, they do have a pretty strong bench, but no real solid defenders, and I feel like that's what's going to let them down. And it might let Newcastle United down, because midfield up, they actually look really solid. I mean, to be fair, they do have Stupinan and Disasi on the bench, but I don't think they're going to be enough to help Newcastle win any trophies. Nottingham Forest, on the other hand, don't look bad at all. I mean, their starting team looks pretty damn solid. I mean, Malo Gusto's in the reserves, Senesius, Hendo, Diop. Then you got Reece James, Evanilson, Anderson as well. I feel like their fullbacks might let them down, but overall, guys, it's a very strong side. As for Southampton, unfortunately, I feel like they're screwed. I mean, their midfield's solid, but they've only got one decent defender in Andrew Robertson. I mean, yes, the squad depth they've got is actually pretty stacked, but there's no decent defenders, and honestly, in the Premier League, I reckon they're going to get annihilated. But moving on to Spurs, and it pains me to say, but their team looks very, very strong, guys. I mean, I haven't even been able to sort this team out properly, and it already looks like one of the best I've seen. I mean, they got McGinn on the bench who can go in Marky Moore's position, but the one position that will let them down is their keeper role, because a 73 rated keeper ain't going to win you anything. As for West Ham, again, a mixed bag. Some real quality in this team, but overall, I don't think there's enough to do anything. Saying that, they got Mazraoui, they got Diogo Dalot, Ezri Konsa on the reserves. And you put that into that back four, maybe that changes things, but I'm not too sure about that. And last but not least, we have Wolves, and this is their starting 11 off face value, and honestly, it's actually a pretty strong team. Some decent players in our reserves, Anthony Gordon, McNeil, Ayew, Mangala, but their defence will massively let them down, man. They do have Martinez in goal, who in my opinion is fantastic, but I don't think he's going to be enough. And there we go, guys. You've seen every single Premier League team randomised in all of their glory. But now it's time to simulate 10 separate seasons to see if randomised in the Premier League actually made a difference, or whether it's the same teams on top. So here we are, guys, at the end of our first simulation, and it's already taken effect, guys. United have been relegated alongside Everton and the Saints. I mean, I really don't care who wins the title at this point. Randomised in the Premier League has absolutely worked. I mean, as we go up the table, no real notable name. Ipswich Town finished 6th. That's actually nuts. Unfortunately, though, City do end up winning the Premier League, so it looks like some things just don't change. However, there's a massive upset straight away as Wolves beat Arsenal in the FA Cup final. And Crystal Palace beat West Ham to win the Carabao Cup. So far, I'd say randomising the Premier League is actually a success, but that's only one season, and we've got 9 more to go. Make that 8 more to go as Season 2 is done, and this pains me to say, but Chelsea, Palace and Wolves have been relegated. I did actually call this, to be fair, but seeing it actually happen is a different story. But as we move up the table, United are 10th in the league, Leicester are 11th, who's won the Premier League? Freaking hell, Man City have won it again. I swear, if we go the entire 10 seasons and City win the Prem every single year, I'm going to be devastated. But at least they haven't won the FA Cup. That honour goes to Newcastle United this time. And West Ham have won the Carabao Cup. So far, that means in the 2 seasons we've randomised the Premier League, 5 Premier League clubs have won a trophy. The question is, though, guys, out of all the 20 clubs that are playing in the Premier League, who's going to end the 10 seasons with the most trophies? Unfortunately, guys, as we end Season 3, it's looking likely that it's going to be Man City. They've won the 3rd Premier League title in a freaking row. I swear this game's coded for Man City to win, because that's just unfair. But as we move down the table, United, Arsenal, West Ham, Spurs are all mid to lower mid-table, so at least we know it's working for some teams. teams. But unfortunately, the Saints, Forest and Ipswich Town have indeed been relegated. Thankfully, City haven't won the FA Cup as that honour once again goes to Wolves. And West Ham win another trophy, so that means that Wolves and West Ham are both tied on 2 now. I know City have won 3 titles in a row, but I don't think that's going to last like that for much longer. I definitely feel like by the end of this video, we're going to have a new king of English football. But guys, Season 4 simulation starts with a shocker, because Aston Villa finished rock freaking bottom. On top of that, Arsenal are 6th, Spurs are 7th, Chelsea 9th, and United are 11th. I'm telling you, that randomised has really kicked some teams in the dirt. And thankfully, we've got a new Premier League winner. Liverpool have won the Premier League this time. They've just scraped it against Fulham, though. I mean, Man City did finish 5th, but look at the top 4, man. Liverpool, Fulham, Bournemouth, and Leicester. Not even halfway through, and we've had more shocks than I actually thought we'd get. And we get another shock, guys, as Man United go from being relegated to winning the FA Cup. And Brighton win their first trophy too, winning the Carabao Cup, beating City to do it as well. I've got to admit, as a neutral, I'm kind of happy with how this is going. Let me know in the comments who you think will win the most trophies by the end of the 10 seasons. If you said Man City, you might just be right, guys, because they've just won their 4th Premier League title. And as we move down the table, honestly, I don't really see them many differences. It looks quite normal to me. But then you look at the bottom 5, United very nearly got relegated again. They just escaped on goal difference. That's crazy, isn't it? Last year they won a trophy, this year they just about scraped survival. But speaking of trophies, Liverpool have just won their 2nd as they win the FA Cup. And Arsenal have won their 1st after beating Brighton to win the Carabao Cup. And that's us halfway through the simulations, guys, and the one thing I'm hoping for the rest of the simulations I do is different Premier League winners, man. I'm sick of the same teams winning it all the time. And it looks like I've got me wishes. Liverpool have won the Premier League instead of City. I know they've already won it in this video, but at least it's a different team. As for the mid-table spots, Chelsea are 10th, Spurs are 14th. Where the hell? No way. United have been relegated again. Oh my god. So far in this video, Chelsea have been relegated once and United have been relegated twice. That's mental. On top of that, Bournemouth claim their 1st trophy as they win the FA Cup. And Palace win their 2nd win in the Carabao Cup. But United being relegated again, man, that is insane. We're having massive differences at the bottom half of the table. We just need to see the same sort of thing happening at the top of the Premier League. And guys, it's sort of happening as Liverpool once again win the Premier League, but Arsenal just missed out on goal difference. As we move down the table, Ipswich are 8th, United this time aren't relegated, but Spurs are 13th. And Chelsea have been relegated for the 2nd time, so United have been relegated twice, and now Chelsea freaking have. I just wish the top half of the Premier League was mixed up as much as the bottom half would. That would complete this Premier League. But as for the FA Cup, City win their 1st as they beat Leeds 2-1. And Brighton win their 2nd trophy as they win the Carabao Cup. Well, coming back to the Premier League, guys, I actually don't think any other team aside from Liverpool and City are actually going to win it. I mean, the 3rd closest are definitely going to be Arsenal. But I swear, if Chelsea get relegated once more in the next 3 seasons, I'm going to be pissed. Thankfully, this season, Chelsea are safe, but City win yet another Premier League title. But as we go down the table, not much is different, but oh my god, United just about scraped survival yet again. Honestly, within the next 2 seasons, I reckon they're definitely going to get relegated again. As for the FA Cup, though, Nottingham Forest win their 1st trophy by beating Brighton 2-1. And Fulham beat Newcastle to win their 1st trophy in the Carabao Cup. But with 2 seasons to go, I'd love a new Premier League winner, man. Maybe a Fulham, maybe a Newcastle, as long as it's not the bottle jobs, I don't really care. And guys, I cannot believe it. Arsenal have won the Premier League. We finally got a different Premier League winner. I mean, it's a shame it's Arsenal, but it is what it is. As for the mid-table spots, United are 11th, Chelsea 9th, but nothing's really out of the ordinary, as Ipswich, Palace and the Saints all get relegated. As for the FA Cup, Aston Villa win it, and if I'm not mistaken, that's their 1st trophy won. But Liverpool win the Carabao Cup, adding on to their long list of trophies they've won in this video. But there's only one more simulated season left in this video, so the question is, who's going to be the king of English football by the end of it? Now, for our 10th and final simulation, I thought I'd do it back to front this time. Starting with the FA Cup, Aston Villa win their second trophy. And Liverpool win yet another Carabao Cup. I'm telling you, they're really trying to top that leaderboard at the end of this video. As for the Premier League, the bottom three, Everton, the Saints and Ipswich all get relegated. But United do come close once again to that third relegation, but they do just escape it. As for mid-table / top 10, there's nothing out of the ordinary really. Chelsea are 7th and Arsenal are actually 5th this time. But Man City win the Premier League once again in our 10th and final simulation. But Fulham did come close, guys, 4 points off the title themselves. But the question is now, who's won the most trophies over the course of the last 10 seasons? And you probably guessed it was indeed Man City. Over the last 10 seasons, they actually won 7 trophies. Liverpool were a very close second, but the rest of the teams just won a couple of trophies or just one. But what's impressed me the most is more than half of the Premier League won 1 trophy. But Man City do remain the kings of English football, even after randomising the damn league. And that's where we're going to leave this video, guys. If you have enjoyed me randomising the Premier League and want to see more content like this, drop this vid a big old thumbs up and smash that subscribe button if you're new. And if you enjoyed this video, why not click here, because YouTube recommends you to watch this as well.